Hey folks, how you doing? I've just spotted the Sunuka is in there. I'm hoping that it's Seneca, who knows? But he's in there with first, and then Tango to Oscar came along and went second. But actually, although you obviously can't see it, but I commented like 4 o'clock today, so actually I was first. Right, hang on, I've got to un unfurnish myself of various bits in my pockets and stuff, but I'm also just want to make sure the tech works, that I'm actually here. I think everything says that I'm here, but I'll have to find out. Oh, there we go. Yep. Or at least I can, let's turn that up. I can see me. 1, 2, 3. Yep, there we go. Cool. All right. So let's hope that that's going to work fine for what we need. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year, eh? Happy New Year. Gavin Rowland is here. And I just want to say Gavin Rowland is my partner in crime on this. He's responsible. He's the one you get in touch with. It is he who actually, we were talking one day and I can't remember, I think was it just, I brought up the concept of doing a half marathon and then he was the one that's like, can we do it for charity? And I'm like, yeah, of course, crikey, I'm a right easy chap when it comes to wanting to do stuff for charity. So I said yes. So Gavin and I have been kind of trying to sort out the best times and whatever to do this. He's just as invested in World Cancer Research Fund as I am in terms of the charity that we're kind of raise money for. So it's I'm pleased that he's here. Hey Goose, he said talk to me Goose is here. Pam Howard's here, hello, and Mike Beddoes here. Oh, you know what, right? The fact that everybody who's commented so far, and John Edge, sorry about that, every single name in the comments there is somebody who I recognise from commenting before or whatever. It's always lovely to have new people. We all enjoy new people coming into our lives, but at the same time, seeing all these different people who have come back time and time again to one of these rows or have commented and whatever, it really does amaze me. It's something that. I suppose not everybody can afford to have this happen in their life, that complete strangers from around the world can suddenly kind of be part of your life. I think the internet has obviously opened that up in many ways, but I do feel very privileged, I guess is the right word, that there are, I'm heading towards 39,000 subscribers on YouTube. So that's 39,000 people who have kind of decided to click on the button to subscribe, but obviously not all 39,000 carry on watching. But the fact that there's all these people who are kind of just continuing to come back and just listen to my drivel, really, when it comes down to it. I mean, some of them say, there's Adam's just joined as well. So you get like folks from the States who are joining in, and then you get like Gavin from down south, and then you get John Edge, who's pretty much around the corner from me, as is you're Scottish as well, aren't you, Goose? But yeah. So anyway, I've not even clipped my microphone on yet. This is how behind time are. So right, we are going to do the half marathon. We're 11 minutes away. So what I do is I'd suggest a little bit of warming up. Sip some water and stuff as well. Make sure you're properly hydrated. If you need to get off the machine to go for a pee halfway, that's unfortunate, but I'd rather you were more hydrated than less hydrated. If I have to do that, I'll turn my microphone off, don't worry. Right, connect rower. I've got to turn it on because the problem of having this monitor up is that it hides the machine. I'm not going to say anything about the Averon bike, which I normally do. There we go. And today, I should really actually clip this microphone on. I'm back to using my Garmin for heart rate. Come on. Oh, okay, it's running. Okay. You're about to go for a journey up my t-shirt. Sorry about this. Dunbar. Yeah, I thought you had. I was pretty sure that you were Scottish. Yeah. Happy New Year. Thanks for the charity row. Thanks for organising. Listen, thanks for everyone for turning up. But not only, I'll probably say this a couple of times, but not only thank you to everyone for turning up on YouTube and watching, and even like turning up on EXR and taking part in the row. Why are you not? You're running. Why haven't you seen it? But also thank you for to everybody who's donated. I think it's There was absolutely no requirement to it. It was only a suggestion from me to donate, and it really is. It means a lot to me that you actually have, because you could easily just have gone no. And I've been in touch with the what should be my contact at World Cancer Research Fund, and she wanted to pass on all her thanks to everybody. She said, like, a special thanks, because we all know that it's January the 2nd. It's been Christmas is not a cheap time of the year, so to actually continue to reach into your pockets and kind of donate, it really does mean a lot. I've actually, bizarrely, I've not donated. Why would I do that? No, I've not actually donated to my own thing, so I'm going to do that afterwards, because it's really literally that very second it's suddenly dawned on me that I haven't donated to my own thing. At least I don't think I have. Right, okay. Am I all set up? I did. Machines connected, heart rate's connected, so I can join the session. Let's go. Okay, now setup-wise, what I have is I've got my MacBook sitting down there, which I have to remember to plug in, because otherwise it's going to run out of juice halfway through the row. And right now, my little heater, which you can see spinning round and round, he's taken up the plug socket that I need in order to power it, and it's so cold in here. I don't know what it's like in Dunbar for you, but I'm assuming, John, where you are, it's just as cold as it is for me here. Gorgeous sky though. The moon is like shining bright down on us. So I always think that's like interesting because obviously for everywhere that the moon is out right now, if we all looked up at the moon at the same time, we're all like focusing on the same point. I just think it's when I was in Vegas in February, there was a point, I can't remember, I think it was like, because we're 8 hours behind, but there was a point in the day where I think the moon was out during the day, and I'd messaged the kids who were back here in Glasgow, had said to them, look up at the moon, look up at the moon. And they're like, why? And I said, well, because I'm looking at it was day for me, night for here. I said, because I'm looking at it too. We're both seeing exactly the same thing, but we're however many thousand miles apart. I'm a very simple character when it comes to stuff like that, to be fair. I was like, whoa, the universe is mind-blowing, man. That is Jerome. Hey, I've been messing you all day today. 2 degrees in my rowing shed. All right, okay. So I think I don't know what it is here, but it's, I was out earlier on today and it's 3.5. So unless, of course, if you're talking Fahrenheit, then that's worse, so obviously. But it was 2 degrees, 2.5, 2, 3 something centigrade earlier on today. It's Matthew Isaac. What to set the C2 to, i.e. to make it count on Concept 2 logbook? I think there's a difference in distance between EXR and C2. EXR should be 21097. I know it's saying 21.1. Well, that's a good point. Crikey, if that messes up. It may be that it's rounded up, but if you want to just set your monitor and almost, because you're not going to be able to, because that's going to be controlling the monitor, isn't it? Or does it do it as a, no, maybe. All right, if you want to set a proper row into your monitor and risk it kerfluffing up with EXR, then by all means do, but you're looking for 21,097 meters, okay? That's the precise. If you're doing a full marathon, it's 42,185, isn't it? Is that right? But yeah, 21,097 is what you're looking for. I'm hoping that the 2110 here is a rounding up error or display thing, because that would be really unfortunate if all of us, currently there's 31 of us all lined up to do the half marathon, and then all of us come off with a non-result because they've programmed it wrong. Right. I really wish the iPad would allow me to have bigger text on the YouTube feed. I can't just break this out as a top messages on it. No. Right, so anyway, because the problem is I won't be able to read the messages while we're rowing. Depends. Can I? Just stick my glasses on. Vim Fuego's here. Even and all, good luck with tonight's row. I've got a house full, so we'll do a catch up again on Sunday. All right, that's okay. Well, it'll be here, and then also, so I'll be here on the RowAlong live channel, but I'm also posting it as row 10 of the 12 rows of Christmas. I'll explain why in a second. Feliz Año Nuevo. Hey, Feliz Año Nuevo. I don't know what TU2 is, but 2 is demasiado, isn't it? Yeah, demasiado. What's that breakfast? not WCRF. Anyway, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Hi John, thanks for this. Allows me to start shedding those Dutch, is that oil balling? Oh, oil balls. Oh, crikey. Sorry, if you're on the YouTube feed, hopefully you've seen the comment there. Just kind of garbled my way through it, but oil balls sounds interesting. So what pace are we doing it? Tango to Oscar says, what pace are we doing this? I'm going to do it round about 2:05 pace, okay? Hang on, I'll have a quick drink. I'm not drinking at all. So here's the plan. I'm going to do round about 20-ish strokes a minute. I'd better turn the heater off and, well actually do I have a spare socket? So I'm just about to go off screen. I'll talk to you while I'm doing this. Hopefully, it would be funny if I tripped a fuse and everything suddenly went. Oh, right, nope. Right, nah, we don't need you. I'm gonna end up hot enough anyway, rowing, aren't I? Where's the power cable? Sorry, folks. Yeah, so 2:05 pace, round about 20 strokes per minute. But what I'm gonna do is, because this is the 10th row and 12 rows of Christmas, I've planned it this way so that, there we go, am I powered up? Yeah. So that what we're going to do is break it down into 10-minute chunks. If I'll move, let's move the heater out of the way, eh? It's a bit of an obstruction. But only in that we're going to look ahead. Okay, so Goose is 220. Yes, Gavin, keep it slow. Yeah. Sorry, he's garbling his words, mummy. Every 10 minutes, that's right. Am I okay this size? You can see my pace, you can see my rates. I'm a bit bigger than normal, but that's how big on screen I'm gonna be. 2 minutes to go. So we're just gonna look at, all I want you to do is look ahead 10 minutes at a time. Like obviously you're gonna be rowing possibly like an hour and say an hour 30 plus. So if all of us sit here right now and think I'm about to be rowing for the next 90 minutes, none of us will start, okay? Because you're like, oh, that's a long time to go. But if you just think, I'm going to row for 10 minutes, then I'm going to row another 10 minutes. Then I'm going to row another 10 minutes. It's that, was it many muckle makes a mickle, or many mackle makes a muckle, or whatever the phrase is. If you could just build up the time, just bit by bit, and I'm suggesting 10 minutes just because I'm doing it as the 10th row in the 12 days of Christmas, but you can break this into whatever you want. You can just look at your monitor and put it into like every 1,000, you're just looking ahead 1,000 meters at a time. And that's how you can get to the end of a half marathon, is by not going too fast from the start, and by just looking ahead in little bits. So, all right, cool. So Adams, so honestly, you're going to be pretty close to me then, Adams, for pace-wise. So 50 seconds to go. Sorry if you just heard me gulping. Beware of pace push as well as that as well. So the other thing is just, listen, we've got a good amount of time to go. Don't sprint the start. There's no point in going absolutely full guns. Like as it is, you've seen, I've not been doing any rowing, so the first few minutes for this are going to be my warm up, and then I'll hit pace. In fact, to tell you what, as rude as it is, I'm going to take my wedding ring off, just because you don't want to have anything there that's going to cause blisters and things. Oh, Craig, I can't wait to get started. It's freezing here. Okay, remember there's a slight delay between EXR and YouTube, about 4 seconds, so make sure and look at EXR, not me, on YouTube for the start. Craig, that was a bit late saying that, wasn't it? Right, 6, 5, 4, good luck everybody, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. I hope, yes. All right, so here we go then. So get yourself just settled into the row. If you haven't done a warm-up, just be like me, just settle. Find your pace, find your rhythm, start to let your body open. And for me, letting my body open is all about rocking forwards over my hips from the back of the stroke. Okay, if I can just think about having a good posture and tilting forwards, whoop, whoop, okay? So get to the back, sit up, tilt forwards. Everything else for me falls into place. Because your backwards recoil it kind of takes care of itself. You don't have to think about it at all. You push with your legs, you end up, it's really hard to finish in a forwards tilt, put it that way. So if you can just think about that forwards tilt with straight arms as you're warming up. And then you can start to drill into stroke rate and power and pushing from the legs, but get that hinge backwards and forwards over the hips in place and you'll be golden. Now, just in case there was 1 or 2 people turning up late, the plan today is to break this half marathon down into 10-minute chunks. So we're only really looking ahead 10 minutes. And at the end of that 10 minutes, it's totally up to you what you do. You might want to mark it with 3 power strokes. You might want to have a drink. Get off your machine, have a wander around. In my case, what I'm aiming to do is just kind of have a bit of a wiggle of my backside and just think again about technique. I've identified the sloppy parts of my technique, and so that's why I want to just make sure each time that I come back to the best of intentions, and then hope it doesn't slip too much over the course of that 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll try and avoid doing a 20-minute lecture on technique, but I will just kind of do a recap every 10 minutes. And the first one of them being, now that we're hopefully warmed up enough that you can think about positions and power, you can start to get that rhythm right. Arms come away, because remember, I start thinking about technique at the back of the stroke. I don't describe it from the catch, I talk about it from the finish. So you pull the handle into your chest, and then it taps off your chest, and you release it instantly. Even down to the low rates, let it come away and use the extra time you have in your stroke to get into the right position before you bend your knees. This is why low rate rowing is so good. You've got all the time in the world to get your body in position before you bend your knees. So arms away, and that momentum, you then sit up onto your sit bones. Woo. And then tilt forwards. So what you want is straight arms, good posture, forwards tilt before you bend your knees. Arms, body, legs. I really hope you've read that somewhere. If you've ever looked into technique for rowing, you should certainly have heard legs, body, arms when it comes to the drive phase. But hopefully you'll have stumbled across arms, body, legs for the recovery too. because then you're in the perfect position to bend your knees and roll to the front of the machine until shins vertical. But by getting arms away and rocking forwards before you bend your knees, it means you're in the right position and you don't have to do anything else with your arms and back. And what that does is it helps prevent like dropping down, slumping into the front, diving into the catch, or dropping the handle too far and then lifting it up in the air and being all over the place. So roll into the front and then try as much as you can to turn it around from the front. So you slide in and then push your feet into the machine. Push the machine away from you with the fastest turnaround, or at least with the least amount of wasted time at the front. But making sure that as a result of that, you don't suddenly open your hips too soon, like racing to the back. Remember, it's not about pushing you to the back, it's about pushing the machine away from you. If you can think about the rowing stroke that way around, then you're more likely to keep your arms straight and that forwards tilt and let your legs power first. There I am. I'm kind of stretching this technique chat out a little bit so that we can cross the first 10-minute chunk and I can stop talking technique for a while. Anyway, so push those legs, keeping arms straight and a forwards tilt. And then when your legs are about halfway done, that's when you swing your back. Especially as you feel your leg power start to fade. That's when you top up the power by swinging your back. And then as legs are really fading and your back's fading, that's when you finish by pull the handle into a finish. So you're pulling at the back, not at the front. So look down, and if you can see your elbows bending at the front, or basically, if you can see your elbows bending, you're pulling too soon. The point I see mine bending at the back, they're just in my peripheral vision. Okay, one more stroke and that's us hit our first 10 minutes. So maybe wiggle your backside, just reseat your seat, or a couple of power strokes. And then just think about that timing as you come forwards. Is Averon Int, I'm guessing is a French rower going by the flag. Seem to be holding quite nicely here as this group of Mike, Jerome, don't know who the Mohican is next to us, There's no name coming up yet. And we are already over 2.5K into the row, so time's flying. I mean, well, it is for me. That first 10 minutes totally flew by. In fact, I got, this morning, got a really nice message from one of the RowAlongers, Steve, just kind of wishing Happy New Year. Which, if you've joined and you haven't heard me say it yet, then Happy New Year to everybody. Lang may your lum reek. But yeah, so he got in touch, but he also asked, just because I said in my kind of New Year's message, the Lang may your lum reek phrase, which is kind of old Scottish for long may your chimney smoke. Wishing you best of prosperity, basically. And he's kind of asking, it's like, how do you speak at home? Do you use phrases like that? Like what you actually like? And I guess I said, well, no. How you hear me speak is pretty much what I'm like. Maybe a bit more sweary. But I do tend to keep the F-bombs to myself. You don't need to hear me swearing when I'm talking about stuff. But I was also saying that the other thing is I'm not really that chatty, or at least I'm not, like, you know, when you go out with a group of friends and one of them's like the ringleader, the kind of alpha male or alpha female. Is there such a thing? But that's so not me. I tend to just sit back, enjoy everyone else's conversation, and talk from time to time, unless I've had one or two too many beers. But I don't drink that much, so. But yeah, so I was saying, but then the moment you park me on a rowing machine, stick a camera on me, can't seem to shut up. I mean, it was before starting today. I was thinking, oh, hang on, you are going to be like online for 2 hours. What are you going to talk about? But I mean, I might have a few silent moments, but I'm sure going to come up with some kind of drivel. It's one of the reasons actually that rowing is kind of lends itself to this kind of style of video workout, because there is a lot to talk about when it comes to technique or training style, like how you use intensities and things. So I made one bike workout as a test once, and it went well, nothing wrong with it, but I just found I was running out of stuff to say. Right, Ronnie, make sure, take it easy, unless you got a second wind. Just that's Ronnie to my right. There you go. R Downey. Yeah, so the bike thing, once you get past relaxed arms, good core, and a little bit of pedal discussion, there's not really much else you can say, whereas I don't know if you're a regular viewer of my RowAlongness or not, but oh boy, could I talk about technique. I could give you a half-hour seminar on how to hold the handle alone, which actually, while we're at it, just be careful with how you're holding the handle. We're coming up for 4K into this row, and although you might not be feeling any kind of pre-blister sensation, uncomfortable hands and blisters and stuff, it's kind of like dehydration. Once you start to feel your fingers start to go, it's too late. So I do recommend fingers hooked over the handle rather than a death grip. It's not only is that a more comfortable way to get the power into the handle, but it also aids with airflow, which means that your hands aren't going to get as sweaty as quickly. And it's that sweat that really compounds the problem. But needless to say, I ain't sprinting this. So if your hands get really sweaty and moist, the problem is they get soft and basically just more prone to blistering. So a loose grip, fingers hooked over the handle, should preserve them for the row. But also, I like to play the piano as I come forwards. I like to kind of move my fingers, reset them almost. I find that makes them a bit more comfortable on the handle. Now, I'm a big thumbs under guy rather than thumbs on top. I'm not sure why it is that a lot of people, their natural instinct is to put thumbs on top. Is there any like gym kit? I know there's like pull-ups, I guess, maybe. Anyway, thumbs under for me keeps all of my tendons and ligaments in a straight line, whereas thumbs on top kind of has a, again for me, a squiggle. It's not a straight line, and that's when I tend to get tennis elbow, especially from putting in power or longer rows. All right, one more stroke. And that's us 20 minutes down. So just wiggle your backside or have a drink or whatever you want to do to mark another 20 minutes. Just make sure my watch is still running. I'm kind of intrigued what the total calorie burn will be today, because it does look like 150 calories for every 10 minutes I'm rowing. So that's what, say I am
90 minutes. That's 1,300 calories, which is round about 1 spoonful of my mother-in-law's trifle. If you have been following some of my rows this Christmas, you may have heard me talk about Margaret's amazing trifle that she makes at Christmas. So nice. But it's only me and father-in-law Jim, hello sir, we're the only ones that eat it. And when I say he joins in, he has like 1 serving. But then I've got kind of like 4/5 of a trifle to make my way through. In fact, they donated to the Just Giving page and even made mention of the trifle, giving me the energy. But, I mean, what row was it? Was it last Sunday's group row on here? Somebody had asked, was it Pam? Had asked about like, what's the best way to approach a half marathon. And I was kind of saying a bit about pacing, a bit about hydration, making sure that you're properly prepared well before the row, rather than trying to chase hydration during the row. Totally not listened to my own advice. I think today I've had 6 cups of coffee and about a quarter of this water bottle, and that's been my fluid intake. Some toast, peanut butter, banana, 2 poached eggs, and I think 5 chocolate biscuits. But truth be told, I've actually, well, I've been slightly forced into kind of backing off my training intensity ever since the December High Rocks, and doing something rather persistent to my left foot. So I haven't been able to run, and even being on my feet for too long will result in lots of pain the next day. So I've only really been rowing or exercise bike. Unfortunately, the ski erg, I can manage that. Possibly because of the kind of rising up onto your toes. Maybe that's stretching whatever has been damaged in my foot. But it means I've only really been doing 1 cardio session a day, and because I can't really move around much, I've not been doing any weights. And it's not just been the amazing mother-in-law related trifle that I've been hammering hard this Christmas. So actually, as welcomed as these, say, 1,400 calories will be, which will kind of translate to about half a pound of fat, they are going to be but a drop in the ocean for all the rubbish I have been eating. And I know part of the trigger to just taking my foot off the gas or the brakes or whatever is deciding that I'm not going to race in Amsterdam. Ordinarily, I'd be training hard, making sure I was as trim as possible for a race which is happening in, 3 weeks. But I've pulled out of it, so my next actual race isn't until Glasgow in March. So I could have got time, hopefully, to heal my heel, but also after this weekend, I am going to certainly I'll stop eating like food's going out of business, but I'll spend more time, I say at least 2 cardio sessions a day, because I'll film a workout and I'll also row my morning 5K for the 5K Everyday series. I'm really hoping that a combination of getting calorie control in line and more cardio will hopefully help. But honestly, the food is the most important part. I've said many times that you can't out-train your fork, and definitely today or this weekend. What day is it? Friday. Okay, this past couple of days is just proof that if you don't keep the fridge door closed or the biscuits locked away, if you just ease off that, or you allow that voice in your head that says, come on man, have a biscuit. You are going to be rowing for 90 minutes later. Then he comes back and says, you can have another biscuit though, can't you? So it's like 400 calories just by eating 5 chocolate biscuits. So it really can add up. There's the small things like my poached eggs were on an English muffin, which is relatively healthy, but then adding in some Parma ham and some Peronese mayonnaise, that then takes that into more unhealthy. And toast with peanut butter, Nutella and a banana. All right then, one more stroke. And that's us at the end of the 3rd block. Well done. Great stuff. The field is spreading out a bit, but it's only because we're only getting the rear-facing view that it feels like me and Jerome are on our own, along with, is that Albert? Alfred? Not entirely sure if I know who A. Romano is, but hopefully you did whatever you planned to do. I am concentrating on the hands away and trying to get as quick a turnaround from the front of the machine as possible. Because the longer you wait at the front, at the catch, the more time just drips away. The flywheel has more time to slow down, so feel heavier on the next stroke. But also, the more time there is for technique gremlins to enter. Especially in my case, my backside escapes from underneath me, and I do a little bit of a strange shoulder wobble if I hang around at the front of the machine for too long. Right, let's see if we can read this. Tech Toby sent a message. Hi all, go for it. Woo. Hope to join you again in the near future. Lower back pain, oh no. Hope you feel a lot better. Watching you out of infrared cabin. Oh, that sounds nice. I actually got an email before Christmas from a company asking if I would like one of these personal saunas. The ones that's like a tent, tidy little cubicle that you sit in or stand in. And not one of the wooden ones, like a fabric thing. I did reply saying, oh, I'd love to, but I get quite a lot of companies, I think they see that I have almost 39,000 subscribers, and so kind of get in touch to see if I want to test their kit. But I'd say for every 10 that gets in touch, only one of them works out, either because it's clearly a rubbish piece of kit, or they just realize that they're not quite going to get 39,000 hits out of the video. That said though, the video I made a few weeks back about the Merak rowing machine, oh, I just did my shoulder thing, stop it. So it's like the copycat of a Concept 2 in terms of design of what it looks like, but has its flaws. So they sent one to me to review, and I was pretty honest about it, in that it feels stable. The stroke is similar to a Concept 2, but the monitor and how it works out drag factor or resistance is deeply flawed. If you're ever entertaining racing on the machine. Anyway, so figured basically my summary was, if you're only using it for exercise, then it's a functional machine. If you care at all about data save up for something else. Anyway, as a result of it, so there's a referral code that if people use, they can get 15% off it. And I also get a few pounds too. Ever since making that video, I think I've had 8 emails about people buying one. Which is, I don't know, I'm just surprised that people watched that video and came away from it going, yeah, all right. Maybe they don't care about data. Maybe they heard me say, yes, it's similar to a Concept 2 and click the buy button. But I literally just today, I published a video about a cheap smartwatch. It's like a £60 smartwatch that, again, if you use a code, you get 18% off it. So it takes it to around about £45. It's a nice enough watch, but again, flawed in that it doesn't broadcast Bluetooth. So you wouldn't be able to row with it and send your heart rate to EXR or the Concept 2 monitor. So it'll be interesting to see whether anyone buys them. It's nice to get sent things, but I did get, someone sent me a foldable water rower, and frankly it was rubbish, so I had to go through the process of what do I do with it now. Fortunately, they don't sell it anymore. I did feel a bit guilty for a while about not publishing the video, but I think they took my advice and kind of went back to the design board. Ooh. Now, where are we? A minute to go until the next change. And I'm nudging 10k now. This is going well. Who's that coming up my outside? It's a big old boat you're rowing. Hey! How are you, sir? I think you messaged me the other day, didn't you? Sorry, I'll reply after this row. Wonder if he's even on YouTube. Okay, so let's just settle into the next changeover. Remember, do whatever you do to celebrate. Another 10 minutes gone. Here we go. So for me, bit of a wiggle. The backside, just get your bottom comfortable on your seat. Because if you're doing this pivot forwards over your hips, rather than having a collapsed posture, you are minimizing the contact between your sit bones and your glutes. However, you are still pressing on one focused point So that's why I keep suggesting every 10 minutes you have a wee wiggle, take the pressure off those fibers and let another part of your backside bear the brunt. Of course, if you do have a poor posture, like your hips are constantly pointing back, then I do recommend trying to adjust your posture, sit up, tilt forwards, because otherwise, as you try to get that forwards tilt, your sit bones roll and grind over a much larger area of your glutes, kind of like a rolling pin. And that is definitely a one-way ticket to a sore backside. And a very sore backside. I remember the first half marathon I did. This was before I really started to become a technique bore. I was of the kind of the leaning back too soon persuasion, and oh, the pain I was in the next day, because even at 20 strokes a minute, say this is a 90-minute row, that's 1,800 strokes. Is that right? Yeah. So rolling and grinding over your glutes 1,800 times. Whew. It's bad enough that you're doing 1,800 presses, pushes with your legs, which will also be activating your glutes. Whew. It's funny, I'm in the process of going through the 2K, or the alternate 2K plan that I have on YouTube. Been doing it for a few weeks now, reading transcripts of what I talk about during the rows, also that I can make kind of a premium version of the plan. Like the free one will still be on YouTube, but I did this with a 5K. Went through, and by going through what I talk about, kind of helped me put together more of a support to help you through the plan. But it is funny, not only the nonsense I can talk, like 15 minutes on the perfect spaghetti bolognese, but also how fixated I can get on a point, how I can talk about making sure your wrists are flat, and you'll find 5 workouts in a row, I'm like a dog with a bone. And so trying to kind of write about this stuff in a way that lets you kind of understand the importance but also not skip it. That's of course if you pay for the premium plan. Otherwise you have to just listen to me talking about it. But what dawned on me when going through it today is that, and this kind of relates to actually what I was talking about, the Merak rowing machine. It's as much as I've become a technique bore and really into all things rowing, it was never the plan. I mean, I started rowing, probably 2002, when I joined David Lloyd's gym in Renfrew, just outside Glasgow. I joined there to play squash. And up until then, all of my squash training had pretty much been on court. I'd maybe go for the odd run. But in fact, it was even before, whatever. Dates don't matter, John, dates don't matter. But David Lloyd was the first time I joined a club that had a proper gym. It wasn't just squash courts. And my coach, who later became my best man, Martin, not the Martin I raced high rocks with, a different Martin. Hang on, message from Ronnie. My apologies to you and the gang. Called it, good, a sensible man. Don't know if you're still here, but you were feeling under the weather anyway. There's no point trying to struggle through to the end and then ruining the next few days of your training as a result. Yeah, so David Lloyd had old model Concept 2s, and Martin was like, right, need to do some conditioning, jump on the rowing machine, knowing that you can destroy yourself on a rowing machine in much more effective ways than just on a treadmill. And so for years, I rowed poorly, but only, I think I'd do 5K, was like my long row. I'd just aim for 5K in 20 minutes. And I did get, I think I got 6:52 2K, all based on fitness and poor technique as well. Imagine what I could have done if someone told me what to do. But hang on. One more stroke, and here we go with our fifth chunk. So wiggle that backside. Whoa. And then concentrate on your technique for a few strokes. Try and let it carry on. Or do a few power strokes. Or, like I say, if you need to have a drink or even stop and stretch, you are allowed to. As much as I'm going to try and get to the end without stopping, there's no heroics in suffering, ploughing through, but then being unable to complete the row because you didn't take care of yourself. Just dawned on me. I wonder if there's going to be a bit of a bun fight between me, Jerome, and Robert. It's Robert, isn't it? It's not Richard. Robert. Sorry if it is Richard. I mean, I'm holding steadily about 2 strokes behind the 2 of them. But once we get to the closing stages, I wonder if they'll take off into the distance. Whew. So I just made the mistake of wiping my mouth, and I've now got a sticky hand. I don't want that to suddenly turn into blisters. Anyway, what I'd say actually is that when I did get that 652 2K, that was the first time I ever jumped online to see if there was like a community. This is back in the days of like alt-net news groups or whatever. But I did find an old style PHP forum. I think it was the original Concept 2 forum that is now defunct. And I posted on it, just saying hi, new year. Just did a 651 2K, just wondering, like after like months, a couple of months of trying to improve to get there. So I was like, I don't know what to do next. What should I aim for next? And it was the first time I'd ever really been let down when it came to this stuff. Because it's not like I got abuse, but got a bunch of messages saying, oh, maybe try taking the lever off 10, without knowing where the lever was. And just kind of snarky comments. Very unbefitting of a Concept 2 community, if you ask me. But it kind of made me go, oh well, forget about this. We're a bunch of soldiers. I'm not going to come back to this community, and I'm not really going to want to exist in the Concept 2 community. Very strange. But then, I don't know, I think I'm that. As much as I was saying about how in a social situation I'm not that chatty, I'm also really easily driven away by things. Like a sour taste. And I'm very quick to go, nope, not for me. Or if I make a mistake in some way, I kind of want to just go, nope, I'm off bite. Like, I remember being about, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe 8 actually, thinking about it. And we went to, like my mum, sister and I, this must have been after my dad had died, a couple of years after. We went to some kind of Highland show, and there were small, like kiddie motorbikes I mean, you couldn't get that nowadays. But I was desperate to go on one. Mom, please, Mom. So I loved the look of it. And then she paid. I got on it. I could ride a bike, but I got on it and then, for whatever reason, fell off instantly. And I want to say the guy running the thing was like laughing at me. But I just remember bubbling up in tears and running away. I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't like, I just don't like failure. And possibly I don't like failure through the eyes of other people as well. I mean, I don't think there's that many people that would embrace an embarrassing failure. It's like a couple of months ago, Julie, Holly and I went out for lunch in Glasgow, and we had plans to go shopping, a whole bunch of stuff afterwards, but as we were walking back, I didn't see that there was a huge pile of dog poo on the pavement, stood in it, and it was weird. It was like, oh, Rowing Rocker, great name. What kind of rock? I'm a Van Halen guy myself. Yeah, a weird sensation. Here's Mark Payne. Hello. As I felt my left foot well, whatever foot. Was it left? Yeah. Just go away from me. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then, as I came plummeting to the ground, and the smell wafted over me, I realized what was going on there. And so, half because I'd kind of fallen in dog poo, but also just because I was mentally scarred by it. I was just like, I just want to go home. I want to go home, shower. I mean, to be fair, I think most people, if they'd gone through that, would likely respond the same way as I did. Possibly, you would have been a stronger mind with the kiddie motorbikes. Whew. I hope we're all feeling okay. Fingers are holding up. Can feel a little bit of a like a sting in my ring finger. So I'm really pleased I took my wedding ring off before we started. And my right hamstring is just telling me that it's being used. But apart from that, all's good with me. Okay, we are an hour done. How amazing is that? So, wiggle, reset your posture, do what you need. I mean, this is certainly the longest that I've rode for this year. But it's also the longest I've rode for. I think I did at the beginning of last year, I possibly did an hour, but I didn't do a half marathon. So, and then familiar, but as far as the past few years, this is new territory. I actually don't think I've done a half marathon ever since starting high rocks training, which when you think about it, is daft. Because part of high rocks is training your fitness to be able to last in the race for like 80, 90, 100, whatever minutes. And so a zone 2 90-minute row would actually be perfect training for high rocks. But it's really easy to get caught up in the rest of it, that you have to train burpees, you have to train sleds, wall balls, all that stuff. But to be honest, fitness and running, if you've got those two sorted, then you'll at least be able to complete a high rocks. Everything else just comes down to performance. Because Julie and I, the one I'm doing in March, I'm doing it mixed doubles with Julie. And I can tell she's a little bit concerned. But I'm like, don't worry about it. You're super fit and you run well. And especially in a mixed doubles, every time one of us kind of runs out of power in like the lunges or something, you just swap. It's incredible how quickly you can recover in the time it takes for someone to do like 6 burpees or lunges, etc. Those two have left me for dust. Where are we at? Just under 6K for me to go. Now what I am going to do is hang around. I'll finish the half marathon, but then I'll do a cool down and stretch and stuff. My plan was to be here for 2 hours, but depends who else is still in the course and really how cold it gets in this studio, because usually 65 minutes into a row and I'd have 2 strips of sweat below me on my mat, but there's nothing today. I do have some beads of sweat on my forehead, but I'm nowhere near as warm, so it's all very good for making sure you don't overheat. I'm a little bit concerned that when I stop, not only will I get cold, but all the sweat, steam coming off me could fog up the camera. So anyway, going back 20 minutes. So I was rowing just as fitness for squash. But obviously squash was the priority, so it was really about working at kind of that aerobic or anaerobic threshold, trying to replicate the same kind of intensity, the same suck really of a squash match. Didn't even do intervals. It was either do a 20-minute 5K or a 2K as fast as I can. Anyway, and then blew out my shoulder. I was never that good at squash. I was fit. I could get to the ball most of the time, but my actual skill just wasn't that consistent in terms of trying to put the ball where I wanted it to be. And so I'd stand on court and just hit the ball straight up and down the wall, trying to get, because if you don't know anything about squash, you really want to be able to hit a straight drive up and down the wall, as close to the wall as you can get it, to make it further for the other guy to run, whilst also difficult for them to kind of scrape the ball off the wall. But the tighter that you try to hit the ball against the wall, the more likely it is that if you're slightly off, it skids off, comes into the middle of the court, the guy just steps forward, plays a drop shot, you're still at the back of the court, you've lost your point. And so because I wasn't that, I mean, I was good, but I was like 90% consistent, but that 10% lost me matches. So I'd stand on court, hit the ball up and down the wall, and I was a hard hitter as well. I'd melt everything. And then I'd stand in the middle of the court on the tee, because there's like two red lines perpendicular to each other, making the shape of a T. And I'd stand there and do volley figure eights, where basically you hit the ball off the wall onto the side wall, and then you'd kind of go forehand, backhand, doing figure of eights. And I just spend hours doing this. Oh, hang on. I'm never going to finish this story. All right, another 10 minutes down. Woohoo! Reseat that seat. Think about technique. Reset your posture. Don't let fatigue get the better of you. If you can think about posture, body positions, pushing with your feet, then you might find the fatigue actually eases off. That it was quirks, kind of laziness, or even I'd say sloppiness, but it's not quite that. But when you get fatigued, if you start to kind of lose the edge of your perfect technique, then it can be a vicious circle where, because you're rowing with less efficiency, you get more fatigued, which then leads you to row with less efficiency. So even if you can think about arms away in posture, just concentrate on one, maybe two elements of technique at a time. Hopefully that'll let you settle down. Talking about settling down, my heart rate has spiked. So I'm going to take a minute to row without talking, if you don't mind. Well, I hope that was as weird for you as it was for me. Rowing in silence. Who ever heard of it? But you'll notice, or maybe noticed, that my heart rate dropped from 172, which is near my max, down to 152. And I also started to row 2 or 3 seconds faster. Heart rate's climbing again. I might need to start taking pauses. So anyway, damaged my shoulder. Had to stop playing squash. And that was when, because I kept on eating and drinking, I mean, I was, what, 25 at the time? So still being a typical mid-20s male, but not exercising anymore. So I ballooned up to 240 pounds, basically just under 17 stone. Big fella. And then when the photo still pops up, but I proposed to Julie at the top of the Empire State Building. And a nice couple took our photo after I did so. And it pops up on our photo frame every now and then. And there's me in a white t-shirt with moobs and a big moon face. And so when I saw that photo, and I'm standing next to this blonde goddess, I did just start to think, maybe you need to get back in shape. We knew it'd be 2 years until the wedding, so I basically gave myself 2 years to lose about, well, I got down to 12 stone. So what's that? About 70 pounds? No, that can't be right. I was about 16 stone 10, and I got down to 12 by the time we got married. But that was from cycling. I really just started to cycle as much as I could. I even set up a bike on a turbo trainer with a computer in front of me and would sit there playing online poker. So I was literally losing pounds while I was losing pounds. Yeah, and then when about 2013, I was making a TV series about the Commonwealth Games Queen's Baton, basically the Commonwealth version of the Olympic torch. And the presenter of that series, he'd made a program where he rowed to the Atlantic, or rowed to the North Pole it was. And he'd used the concept too to train for it. But now that it was done, he wanted rid of it. So I was like, I used to row. As much as I'm enjoying cycling, I've got really fit legs and wee puny arms. So offered to buy it off him, which obviously he said yes. And then had that in my garage next to the bike. I would kind of skip between the two. But then, hang on, our next change up is coming. I'll take this time to breathe. All right, that's another 10 minutes done. Well done, folks. That's 8 down. Doing so well. Let's see if I can finish this story in about 7 minutes. So I think that's how long I'll be. So, in the kind of the manual and stuff that came with the machine, there was a free trial for RowPro. Now, talking about another piece of software, well, using another one isn't really on, but RowPro, unfortunately, is a bit of a ghost town nowadays, but it was the kind of de facto place to do online racing. And I'd never raced anyone before. I'd only ever raced my own PBs. And again, that one time I got in touch with the Concept 2 community. I found the grumpy ones, so totally dismissed the concept of a community. But anyway, so installed RowPro, used it for just training purposes, because then I had a good image on screen to look at, not just Concept 2 monitor. Again, EXR is 100 times better now. But before long, I saw the races and decided to enter a couple. And I mean, I did okay. I lost to half the field. I beat half the field. But just kind of, yeah, whatever. And then started to spot team names. Sub 7, Mad, Free Spirits. I thought, oh, they sound like me, Free Spirits. So I joined their community, said hello, started to post my results, and I think it was Dave who got in touch and said, how heavy are you? Well, how rude. Next he'll be asking how old I am. And he said, how old are you? So I said, well, I'm 38, currently 82 kilograms. He said, if you can lose 7 kilograms by the time you hit 40, then with your times as a lightweight, you could be a real contender in the world of online and real world racing. I'm like, all right. And so, kind of threw myself into it, but I enjoyed the challenge anyway, having already been through a weight loss regime. And then started racing, and lo and behold, for the list of rowers, I was starting to become first place for lightweights. Not just for my age. And I started to look at records on the Concept 2 site and realized, oh, so I'd kind of, beginning of the season, I held most of the ranked workout top. Then it was like gradually beaten over the course of a couple of months, but that really kind of lit a fire for the racing side of things. And honestly, once you get the 2K bug, and I don't mean winning races, what I mean is once you get used to training for a 2K and enjoying it, because you really have to enjoy training for a 2K. It's hard work, and you start to really revel in seeing your times drop. You see 7:10 become 7:05, and then it hovers at 7:02 for a while, and then suddenly you duck under. And I mean, I'd wake up, have breakfast, go do a 6:55 2K, then jump on the bike and cycle 15 kilometers to work. So that's the kind of madness that a 2K can really drive into you. But that's basically how I went from just using rowing for fitness to suddenly, well, basically being where I am now, having gone through racing and trying to perfect my technique, to then having a really bad hand injury, which kept me off for long enough that I kind of, not only did I lose the performance, but I also lost that love for 2K racing. Still love the training. I just hate doing a 2K. And I need to fall in love with that again, especially now that I'm 50. One more stroke for me. Whoa. All right. Hopefully, there's 73 of us. Hopefully. I don't know what happens when it comes to logbook. Like does EXR clip out that half marathon and upload it to the logbook, or the fact that I'm now rowing further, does that then mean it's not a ranked, it's not a ranked workout? Because if it isn't, I think EXR need to do something about that. What we got is Jerome. Well done for, you definitely, around about the time when I said, I wonder what's going to happen, both you and Robert, Robert, oh, my brain, you both put in a kick and just went out without me, but I could see, not that I'm using this as an excuse, but I could see my heart rate starting to climb well before it hit that spike at 172. And I knew that I would have a choice of either chasing you, trying to kind of hold on to the end, or still being able to talk through the row. So now what I really want to do is turn round, but I don't think there's a way to. In Zwift, there's a U-turn button that you can press. Oh, I'll do for my cool down anyway. Yeah, there's a U-turn button that you can press. So if you are in a race and you're finished, you can just go and then do a U-turn, and then you can then cycle past everybody that's still kind of coming into the finish. And that'd be really useful here, because then I'd be able to kind of roll past all of you as you're, like the ones who haven't finished yet, as you're coming up. So we've got, all right, thanks. Right, thanks, Robert. Oh, sorry, race brain. You know, kind of thing where you start to question yourself, and you kind of go, what is that? My name, John. So what do we have? Right, so those those pace pushers, eh? Thanks to R. Sethler for pushing 2. Without you, I've slacked off a bit. Yep, and then Robert says, great row, John. Talking the whole way through mental. Well, yes. I mean, to be honest, it's like what I said earlier on in the row. I'm surprised that I could think of something to talk about for an hour and a half. But it helped. I kind of got lost in the story of why I got
into rowing. I might actually, so I quite like the idea of, I never got into rowing to race. And that's quite a nice start. Because what I do, again, I'm not talking about this to try and sell you it, but for these kind of premium plans that I'm making, I have the 5K one had the RowAlong philosophy, which is basically just like a big kind of like almost like book that I've written about my approach to how you train and all that stuff. And I'm going to write another one for the 2K. Some of the stuff will be kind of similar, but I'm not going to just like copy and paste. I want to write an entirely new one. And I was thinking today about, because before I think I said, I think on the 5K one I started off saying I'm an accidental coach, that I didn't do this to become a coach. But actually, I think the other way to look at that is, if your waffling helped, thank you very much. I also didn't get in this to race. This is like what I was just talking about. I got in this just for fitness. So I think that might be how I start. Oh, the 2K one. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my hands in a position that I can stretch. The moment you continue, it's not verified anymore. That is a bit of a flaw, isn't it? Maybe it's kind of, somebody asked right at the beginning about what they should set the monitor to in order to get a verified one. Maybe that's the way to go ahead. I don't know. I'll speak to Maxim at EXR and say that is a little bit of a flaw. But you could, I suppose, certainly I can go back. It won't be verified, but I can go back onto the video here and I'll see the moment I hit the finish line and I can at least enter it in manually. Because I mean, I was 128, I think I was. So it's not going to matter. I'm not going to be anywhere near the top of a leaderboard, so I don't need it to be verified. It was Cordier's fault again. I can feel my glutes going. Look at the speed of that person. Whoa, crikey. Right, I can feel my glutes going, so I'm going to stretch them while I'm sitting talking to you. What one should I do first? So in case you're finished and you want to follow me, one foot on the ground, bring your other foot across so that your ankle's across your knee. Then use your arm to hold that in place, that knee in place, and then hold on to the back of the machine, and then rotate. Woo! Remember I was talking earlier on in the row about how your glutes will get, will get quite a kind of a beating, I think is the best word for it. I mean, like I say, gee whiz. I'm gonna have to ease that one off a little bit. Like 1,800 strokes-ish. In fact, is there a stroke? Does this give you a stroke count? Report. Do you get a stroke count? No. Classic, would it be under that? No. Okay, so calories was 1346. Hey, I was quite close with my my guesstimate, wasn't I? That's just, all right. Something else to say is that maybe they want to, like, as well as average stroke rate and whatever, I should put in total strokes, because I would be interested to know how many I did in that. So I'm just stretching my other glute now in case you're listening to the podcast. Well, actually, the podcast probably won't continue this much. Look, I'm at my experience points. I think possibly when I hit save, I'm going to level up. Possibly? No, I'm not. I'm at 19,989. It's not about levels. Got to rotate a bit. I get the feeling I'm going to be a bit sore tomorrow. I actually had the past 2 weeks, I've been doing a community row for the My Row system, because I'm going to start making content for them. And so we've been testing the community rows. It's not quite as busy as here. There's only kind of like been 6 or 7 people turning up that sounds bad. It's only been 6 or 7 people have been part of it. I think they're testing it in a small bubble right now. But they were in touch asking if I could do another one tomorrow. And I said, listen, I'd love to. You know how invested I am in trying to. Oh, have you finished, Gavin? You're typing, so hopefully you're done. Be sure to type and let me know. Tell me what your time was. And I said, no, I need a rest day. I'm afraid. But then it suddenly dawned on me, I wanted to finish my 12 Rows of Christmas series by Sunday. And so I either have to do a row tomorrow. I'm just chatting away, by the way, just for all the rest of you folks that are still on the water. I'm going to go back to keep rowing just to see if anyone else comes zooming past over here. I think it was W. Cody. So I said it's just like a rest day, but I have to do so this was 10, I think it was like 10-minute halving or something I've called it, because we did it in the 10-minute blocks. and then the 11th row is 4-11s grinding or something. So basically 4 11-minute low intensity intervals. So I'm sitting in a really weird way because I'm starting to cramp up in my right glute. I might actually have to go just because I'm gonna have to go and stretch properly. 1:32:58. Well done, Gavin. Is that your first ever half marathon? Make sure, great rows by everyone from Tango to Oscar. You off? Thanks for the company. Thank you to everyone for the company. Who goes by split second? Remember, it's Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, if only. I was thinking earlier on today. I hope you don't mind me just kind of ranting away. I'm going to have a drink actually. One second. Apologies if you can hear me drinking. I should go get a beer. We could celebrate together. Oh, if I'm going to stand up. Sorry, my head's about to pop off the screen, but I'm going to stand up and do my quads while I'm talking to you. What was I talking about? Yeah. I was watching No Time to Die today. Oh, crikey. It all goes wrong. Right, do it this way, John. There we go. Oh, who messaged? Oh, Gavin, don't make me bend over. Oh, what's he saying? Hang on, wait a minute. I'm not going to share that with anybody. I'm going to put my head back down so you can see me laughing. You've got a dirty mind there, Gavin. If you can see things like that, don't take a Vorshak test? Oh, sorry, you know, looking at a man rubbing his backside on YouTube. I was watching No Time to Die. That's the story I was telling. And I don't know why, but suddenly, because I've got a real, I think Ana de Armas, the actor, let's not call her an actress. I think that's because they prefer to be called actor. Like, she's still an actor, she's just a woman. But unsurprisingly, I've got real kind of, in terms of actresses, I've got a real soft spot for her. I think she's just, like everything she's in, I just go all gooey. I'm like, oh, she's so pretty. And for some strange reason, I thought, wouldn't it be funny if like somebody famous like her was a rower and watched something like this? Although, did I ever tell you, I don't know if have I ever talked about this? I don't know if I have. Crikey. At least you apologise for your don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I got an email from someone saying, oh, hi, thank you very much for your rows. I really enjoy them. I'm an actor living in LA, 70-something years old, and really appreciate your workouts, blah, 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 blah. And then finished that off by saying, it's like, I've moved out here years ago. I used to be in an Australian soap called Neighbours. And I'm like, what? And like, this is what kind of, obviously I'm reading, so I didn't get it. The answer came quite quick, but basically, I mean, if you're of my age in the UK, then so I'm just gonna go into glutes while I'm talking to you. My age in the UK, then you'll get why this is so amazing. But it was Jim from Neighbours, Alan Dale, got in touch to say thank you for the workouts and whatever. And I was like, Jim from Neighbours. I think that's the first famous, well, I say the first, it's the only famous that I've ever had kind of get in touch and say that they enjoy the workouts. And I think, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I specifically focused in on, wouldn't it be lovely if Ana de Armas, or de Armas, I should really learn how to pronounce her name if she is going to be the future Mrs. Stevenson. Julie, like my wife says that to the kids every time she's like, when we do watch, like what else were we watching? Oh, they're Knives Out, the first Knives Out film that she's in. Julie was saying, she was like, oh yeah, that's the future Mrs. Stevenson. And then the second one has Kate Hudson in it, who I go all soft and gooey with when I see her as well. So when we were watching that, she's like, oh yeah, that's also the future Mrs. Stevenson. So, haha. It's like that episode of Friends where they talk about how they got the list of 5 people that they're allowed to sleep with and like laminated. Then definitely, oh crikey, that right glute. I'm gonna have to go in and stretch it properly, I'm afraid. Yeah, they definitely have a big laminated Ana de Armas in it. Ballerina, the John Wick film, or the John Wick world, which
in terms of like reviews and stuff, it was totally slated. I'm like, I love that film. Oh, just her all the time. Right, I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know how long, where are we at? 2040, so that's been an hour 40. I know that there's still a lot of other people still coming up behind us, still on their rowing. So I apologize if you are still rowing and you are, even if you are, oh, hang on. We can go through some of the, let's see if this will keep me occupied. Oh, who's that? There's Goose. Yay. I hung around just for you, Stephen. Enjoyed that. 4 minutes. Oh, wow, you got 4 minutes off your PB. Well done. It's amazing. Thanks, John. Until the next one. So Jerome's off. Thank you so much for being here. Hope the appeal for the cancer sponsorship goes well and you raise some serious money. All the best, Rob, Claire. Ah, so that's the... See, because sometimes I don't put names together. Do say hello to Claire Busky and Bear if you're still here. Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah, hopefully, I think last seen I was nudging £500 raised for a World Cancer Research Fund for tonight's row. Obviously, it'd be lovely if I'd hit the 1,000 target, but I think that was always going to be a little bit far off. But yeah, maybe I should. I'll probably actually put the money that I've been getting from the referral codes for the Merak rowing machine. I think I'll donate that towards it. That's only fair, isn't it? Some great times getting posted. Well done. I know, it's been amazing actually. One day, so the only sad thing is we didn't see who won between Robert and Jerome in the distance. We didn't see who won between the two of them because I was just a little bit far off them, but yeah. So right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep on flanneling until 1:45 because I think I'm going to have to just bail and go and properly stretch this glute. I can feel it really starting to kind of get quite fiery in terms of it's about to cramp up on me because I've not really stretched properly. So I want to make sure and get done. So John Edge in 140, that's amazing actually. Like, all right, you said it, so I'll repeat. Chuff with that for an old codger. But 140 is, I mean, that's across 21K, you're only like 10 minutes off what I did, and you're what, a good 20 plus years older than me. So if I can hit 140 when I'm your age, then I'm going to be more than happy. Yeah, so I think it was a really nice row. I look forward to doing another one. I don't know when to. I mean, could probably arrange one. I probably won't want to do another one. Could always do a birthday one. Oh, what's happening? The weekend of my birthday. I think that's a Saturday. February the 20th. Is that a Saturday? Might see, or Sunday. Might actually arrange a wee birthday half marathon. Let me know. But just like do a half marathon. Don't have to do it for charity. You can always do it for charity again, but could just do a half marathon. Could even do a marathon. God, that's just penance for your birthday, isn't it? So, right, I'm going to do my whole goodbye thing. So this will be like 1:45-ish. Will be the time for people to be rowing. Apologies if you are continuing to row and you still haven't finished and the video stops. I'm really, really sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna just before. Otherwise, I'll not be able to row for a week if I don't go and stretch off my backside. So thank you so much for joining me. If you did donate, then thank you so much that side's my heart from the heart. Thank you so much for donating. If you didn't, don't worry about it. If you didn't and you're like, actually, I don't donate to charity. I don't want to. I don't have the money. Whatever reason you didn't. If it's just like, I don't do that stuff, it's perfectly fine. We all have things that we do that we like to do, things that we do that we don't like to do, all right? So I'm absolutely no pressure at all. But thank you to those that did, that's all I'm saying. Thank you for joining me. I will be back on EXR on Sunday morning for the Rise and Row with RowAlong. So if you can face, if I can think about something to talk about for half an hour, I look forward to seeing you then. And of course, there are still the 12 rows of Christmas that are kind of happening right now. Like I said, this is row 10, so you might not want to do it again. You could just do it out of sequence, but yeah, so get them all finished off. And then I'm back to just regular programming, the 5K every day and other little rows. So I'm all done. That's us at our 145 point done, gone. I'm going to stop squirming around, go stretch off my glutes, and then have a shower, have something to eat, and then just go, wow, what a great way to spend a Friday night. So I hope you all have a fantastic 2026. This is a great way to start it. And yeah, all the best for everything to come. I wish you all success and happiness and joy, hopefully on the rowing machine at the same time. This is what I've been saying in all my messages. But yeah, until the next time then, everybody, please look after yourselves. And you know what?
I always finish by saying, have a shower recently, have a shower, have something to eat, have something to drink, and find someone that it means something to you and tell them you love them. I don't want to say in that kind of the way that you can say in whatever. I just want to say I love you all for coming and being part of my world. I think it really does. It touches me so much that you care to even join me and put up with my rubbish for 106 minutes. All right, so that's my kind of end part. There we go. So that'll be me never talking again now that I've embarrassed myself by saying I love you all. So look after yourselves, folks. I'll see you the next time round. Until then, row well, be well. Bye bye.